Parenting Tuesday on the 24th day of June 2025. A very good morning to you wherever you're joining us this morning. It is an amazing, beautiful day. We thank the Lord for such an amazing opportunity to be here to bring you lovely, impactful content. And today, when I say impactful, it is impactful. We are talking about matters parenting, but we're not talking to the parents this morning. We'll be talking to the children. Yes, we're talking to two young, amazing, super talented men. They call themselves, I think are you guys Gen Zs? Anyway, you'll see them just as they get to introduce themselves. They're young, they're super talented, they're the gifted ones. They set the trends and others follow. This morning I'm happy, I'm amazed to be joined by this amazing, talented young people who will be talking to us or taking us through their journey in the music industry in Kenya. Actually, they're the top threes right now, so they'll be telling us more about that. Remember to join in this conversation on 20316 on SMS line and 0786 316 316. That is our WhatsApp line. Join into the conversation, ask your questions, encourage them, send in even your compliments. They're quite good looking. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. Good to have you. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll start with I'll start with you, Omar. Please introduce yourself.
So my name is Michael Omar. I'm a what?
Yeah.
I'm a rapper, musician, recording and performing artist, and also a student, university student.
Fantastic. That brings a twist to this.
Yeah.
Genesis.
My name is Joe Kimani, otherwise known as Genesis, but some people call me Jeno.
Yeah.
I'm a rapper, musician, performer, artist, student as well. Okay. Yeah.
You said you're both students, so Omar probably may start us off by telling us, what do you study? You know, what do you do?
So I'm doing a bachelor's in communication and multimedia journalism.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in my final year right now.
Wow, congratulations. Nice. It seems you want this job. Wait. Anyway,
I'm doing a bachelor's in international relations at Strathmore University. I'm also in my final year.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Now, of course, we'll get into this question of how you balance studies and also music, because I know it's quite engaging, isn't it? But first things first, Omar, when did you realize that singing or music to you was not just a hobby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be quite frank, I realized that when I actually started releasing my music and had it and got reception back, and when I first performed, I realized I think I want to make a career out of this.
Oh yeah.
Because you know, once you do what you love, it's not a job.
Yeah.
When you're doing what you love. So when I first released my music, the first song I ever released was in about 2018.
Okay.
That's when also one of the first times I managed to get on stage as well. And yeah, turned a hobby to a job.
Whoa, so passion drives you, right?
A lot,
but just before then, before doing the, because can I call it like the professional bit of it, how did you know that you're into music? Did you, when you were younger, did you used to sing? Did you used to love instruments? Yeah.
So I used to write a lot. Especially in high school, I used to write a lot. You know, a lot of poems for the ladies.
Okay.
Valentine's, I didn't need to do too much.
Yeah.
And I also used to watch a lot of performances, both from international acts and Kenyan acts.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also used to listen to a lot of Kenyan music growing up.
Okay, so you realized, you know, you had a passion for it.
I had a passion for it.
Okay. Genesis, your journey, how did you get yourself there?
You see, now, contrary to him, mine was fueled by the people around me. My mom used to listen to a lot of music.
Okay.
She was a very big Celine Dion fan. So growing up, I used to listen to a lot of that.
Okay.
Boys to Men. That's what was around me when I was younger. So it was very musical in the house. And then I didn't actually start writing. I used to do like freestyles in class.
Okay.
So we used to like rap while we're hitting the desk. That's how we used to like make fun during like break time. And, yeah, so other kids were going to play football as we were rapping in class. And then now, as we continued now growing, in Rara we used to have concerts and prize giving days. During that time is when we used to go on stage and perform now for the parents. And then I guess that's what fueled now the dream.
The dream, fantastic. Oh wow. When we talk about school, and then there's also now you're in the music industry, how do you balance the two? How do you find that balance, Omar?
Wow, I'm not going to lie, it's something that really challenged me. I butt heads a lot, especially with my parents, about prioritizing school and my priority being the music. So I think it's just about being able to balance your time, because especially when it comes to studio sessions, you know, it's about balancing time, because me and Jeno can be in the studio till 6 in the morning, and I have a class at 8, you know, something crazy like that. So I think it's just about balancing time. For example, I can say we go to the studio Friday to Sunday, knowing that Monday to Thursday we have school. If we're going to the studio Monday to Thursday, we need to be able to understand when it's time to leave the studio, when it's time to prioritize class over studio time. So it challenged me a lot at first, but when it came down to it, it was time management. Being able to manage my time for school and manage my time for being a superstar.
Yeah, indeed, you are a you guys are superstars. And you know, so it's more about planning. Genesis, is it about planning?
It's I couldn't say it better than him. Time management is very key, especially considering the fact that, you see, music is not just about being in the studio, just about performing. There's so much that comes with it. There's meetings, there's you know, have now opportunities like this to be on family TV. So it's about really just prioritizing your time and seeing what works best. And then also now, you know, holding your priorities right, seeing, okay, now this is time for exam season. We can't really do too much in the music sector. Or when we're about to have a release in terms of album sales or albums and whatever, we can't really do too much in terms of school. So it's just about balance.
All right. You know, in this era, social media, how are you able to maintain a certain, you know, image in the social media, or even pressure? How do you handle that?
I'd say you can't maintain an image if it's not who you are. So the best thing to do is present yourself like as authentically as possible to the people outside, because they'll see if it's fake, and you don't want to, you know, let down the fans or people who are looking up to you. So it's not about maintaining an image, but rather just trying to be your most authentic self in front of a camera. So the pressure, you don't bow to that pressure. That's what you're saying? No.
Omar, parents, you talked about your parents shaping you in one or the other. And by the way, Omar's dad is in the house. He's here, he came, stayed, you know, that kind of support for our young people. Amazing stuff right there. Omar, so what kind of support do your parents give you, apart from this? Even just bringing you here is amazing. First
of all, shout out to Dad for bringing me here.
Absolutely.
My parents support me a lot, just by even just letting me leave the house to perform. My mom, even shout out to you, Mom. I hope she's listening in from where she is. My mom is one of my hugest fans. She's one of my biggest fans. I mean, any opportunity she gets to say her son is a rapper, she will do it. You know, she plays my music a lot. I think my dad also supports me in terms of, not just my dad, but both my parents support me in terms of advice. You know, because I know I'm the first rapper they've raised. So sometimes
they have no other experience.
You know, so it's like, I think it's the first time as well.
True.
And the fact that they've taken time to understand why I make this music, to understand why I go for the shows, to understand why I move around Genesis and the rest of my friends. I think it's a huge support, just to let me be.
Absolutely.
And just to, you know, try and understand why and who I am as an individual. So my parents are a huge support for me. They're coming for the shows as well. My mom came for one show. One of my first shows. She was shocked.
Like, is this my son?
She was shocked. She was shocked. So my parents give me a lot of support, and I love them for it.
Fantastic. Genesis, the kind of support from your parents.
I think that was my first support system. My mom, I used to record in the house. I didn't have a microphone. Before I started taking it like very seriously, I used to record on my phone. So I used to tell the house, yo guys, be quiet. My mom and my small brother, be quiet, be quiet. I'm recording. I take the phone and I go and hide in a closet. And they come and ask me, what did you record? You know, that type of encouragement. Absolutely. Like let's hear what you're doing. And then, you know, as I went, but as I grew as an artist, I started being gifted. Like my first microphone was my mom who got it for me. So that really pushed me to pursue my dream, because she believed in what I needed to do. My first appearance, my first performance, I was 16. and she let me go and perform at the club. I'm 16, mind you.
Oh wow!
So I mean, she was very, of course, she sent my older cousins to take me so that nothing happens. But she was very supportive, and she's always been supportive. Every time I need to drop a song, she's there to cheer me on. So and my brother as well. So that's
awesome. Oh, you guys are so loved, are so supported, and of course, you've not talked about even they support your hairstyles, right?
Exactly.
Because I know parents would go like, that hair, not in my house, isn't it? Let's talk about the challenges maybe that you've gone through or you go through as an artist, as a student in this industry.
To be honest, being able to focus on one thing when you need to focus on it sometimes can be a bit tricky, because I mean, I can go to school and people in school know I make music, you know, so just even trying to interact with people, or people trying to interact with me outside of being an artist, you know, trying to interact with me just as Michael, you know, so sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge. And then there's also the, like I mentioned earlier, there was the time management, being able to focus on what you need when you need to do it. I think those are my two main challenges so far right now as an artist, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, you grow through the challenges, you take the lessons with you. Genesis, your challenges?
I'd say just finding the balance between Joel Kimani and Genesis, because those are two different people, but they're still the same person. So it's kind of just understanding that difference, you feel me? So it's like, when do I present myself as myself in terms of, like, you know, my other facets of life, like studies and all that, versus when do I become the artist and the performer, or are they the same person? So it's just striking that balance, really.
All right. Talking as students, does the school support you in any way? Have you gotten any kind of support from your school?
Yeah. I mean, some of my gigs are in school. I think that's probably the main way that the school supports me, just by giving me a platform to show my talent, and just giving me a platform to rap as well. So the school really helps by giving me that platform. And to be quite honest, with the course that I'm doing, there's a lot of things that I can learn that will help shape my career outside the classroom. And that's also another way I feel like school is a huge support for me.
All right.
Yeah, but mainly giving me the platform.
The platform, absolutely. Because once you're there, you do your thing, and that's how you get your supporters, your fans, and all that. You know, June is a Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. June. So, and your men. How then do you just ensure that your mental health, emotionally, you're just at a good place?
I feel like having candid conversations with the people around you really helps. Omar is not just my collaborator or my workmate. This is one of my best friends, if not my best friend. So having those conversations, checking up on each other on a random Tuesday, when you're just Omar and Joel, not Genesis and Omar, you understand? So having those kind of conversations and really ensuring that you are able to, because I feel like men are supposed to be strong and not really talk about how they feel. But having an opportunity to do that, especially with the friends and people close to you, our parents and our family, it really helps ensure that
balances you out.
We're good.
Omar, why Genesis?
So, like you just said earlier, this is one of my best friends, if not my best friend. And outside just being artists, even just being individuals, I think we gel very well. And I feel like before you get into the studio, before you gel with somebody in the studio, you need to be able to have gel with them outside of the studio. So by the time Genesis and I decided to enter the studio, we have a whole album together. It's called Neighborhood Heroes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So by the time we even just got into the studio together, I knew that this is my guy. You know, this is my guy. Like you
guy, my guy. Is that what I'm saying?
I said, this is my guy. So Genesis is an amazing individual. Just outside being an artist, as a friend, like you said, the candid conversations. One person who I know can check up on me on Tuesday at 7 p.m. I know Genesis will call me. You know, and he knows I do the same for him. You know, so I think we have a good relationship just as Omar and Genesis, just as people outside of being in the studio.
Okay.
And not to say that the rest of my friends who make music are not as good as him, or you know, just that I feel like I have a closer relationship with him.
Okay.
And yeah, so
all right,
that's why
fantastic.
Genesis.
Yeah, with all this, I mean, being in the spotlight and all that, Genesis, then how are you able to create boundaries? You know, because now you have your private life, now the Joe, the Omar. How do you create that boundary or set the boundaries to just have your space?
I think having a small circle really helps, because there are very few people who just can pop up and check in on you, and that allows you to maintain your safe space. I think as artists, you'll notice this, like if it's not family or close friends, we're not really outside like that, unless we're with those people. Okay. So it really helps to keep that privacy and that space from the general public.
Okay. And for you, Omar, how do you set your boundaries?
No, I agree. I agree with him 100%. A small circle, just a small circle of friends, basically chosen family, people who you know you can gel with, and people who you know you can be around. There's also being able to realize when it's time to go home, it's time to go home. You know, a lot of, and that it's something that Genesis actually has taught me. I'm learning it. I'm trying to be better at it, learning it better. It's sometimes your mental is not there. You know, you're physically there, but mentally you're not there.
You're not.
You know, and I feel like being able to have that boundary with yourself, being able to understand when your mental clock is done, you need to be able to remove yourself from the situation or remove yourself from a place. Yeah, I think that's...
I love what you've said, boundaries with yourself. You know, a lot of times we look at creating boundaries with people, but we forget about ourselves. So that's also self-discipline, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Being a Parenting Tuesday, this show is Parenting Tuesday. So parents, your parents are not worried like, now, okay, this kid, I took him to school to study. Then now here he is, and he's doing so well in music. They don't have that fear of, okay, you leave IR issues candle, and then now you focus on your music. Is there that worry or fear?
I think there's duality in man, just knowing that you can't be one thing. So I could be a musician, but I also represent Kenya in a diplomatic way because of my degree in IR. You understand? So I mean, you can integrate a lot of the things that you do in life, and even if you don't, you could always just do them separately, because it's very easy to apply education. I feel like that's the best thing you can give your children, an education. So once they've even gotten the education, they can do whatever.
You had that discussion with your
most definitely.
In my time, you're doing this anyway. Omar, for you?
No, same. There's duality, 100%. I'm not gonna lie, I butted heads with my parents for a bit, because there's a point where I thought I could just do one thing. I thought music is my future. It's the only path that I want to get, you know, without being able to apply the other things that my parents were trying to tell me to do, you know, especially about school. So I think, like I said earlier, I'm the first rapper who my parents are raising. There's a first time for everything. And I think as I continued to grow, I slowly started to better understand what they meant, you know, like especially when it comes to having not necessarily a backup plan, but something to fall back to, you know, in case, you know, the music doesn't go the direction I want it to go. I can be able to apply what I'm learning to not only improve my life, but even to improve my music career.
Actually, the gig economy is paying very well for you young people, and even I think adults now are thinking of getting to the gig economy, or if not, they're already there. Just speaking about treating this as a business, you know, when did you start treating it like a business? Like now there's branding, there's management, there's signing of contracts. At what point did you guys decide, okay, this is it?
For me, like I said, I started when I was 16. So my first show was a DJ at a club called me, reached out via Instagram and said, you need to come and perform. I didn't know anything about performing, but I knew I wanted to perform. So I went. I didn't even ask for them to pay me or anything like that. So I went, and then I performed. They didn't have a stage. I performed on a speaker, and they gave me 400 shillings.
Wow.
That was my first paycheck.
Okay.
So give me 400 shillings, and I go with all my friends there at the time, and I bought all of them smokies, and then I went home. That was my first paycheck. But then growing up more and growing in the industry, I was able to sit down, and now I have a manager, and so I can focus on the art, but he focuses on the business side of it.
Okay.
And we're able to gel well and grow as a team. So to answer your question, when did that happen? I'd say maybe in 2022.
Okay.
About there. That's when I said, okay, now we need to start thinking of this as a livelihood. How would we? What are the different facets of music that we can incur income from?
Okay.
What are the ways that I can grow myself as an artist and as a brand?
Okay.
What are the things that you'd recognize me with? That's why the afro is the afro, because that's something you recognize. So how do you brand yourself as someone recognizable to the general public and not just someone who can fit into a box? You understand?
Yeah.
So 2022 is when I got to that.
The contracts and making it a real business. Okay.
Yeah.
But we should have started with this question. When did you meet? When did you start? When did you start doing the collabo?
That's a good question.
Well, that we both went,
You guys are twinning.
Yeah.
So Geno and I first met in about 2020, I think. Was it 2020?
Yeah.
Met in COVID time. We met in an elevator.
Oh.
So we were going to, I was performing that day, so I was with my friends inside an elevator, everything. So Geno was in the same elevator, and at this point, I was popping a bit more than Geno was, and Geno had sent me some stuff I needed to work on, like some tracks he wanted me to feature on, and I hadn't done it yet. So he looks at me, he's like, Omar, it's Geno. Said, oh. Okay. So we started like meeting every once in a while with Geno, and then we decided to make our collab album last year.
Okay.
So I'd say we were the closest. Right now we're close, but before now the closest we started getting closer as we started collabing and working on the tape, on the album. And the rest is history. The
rest is history. Look at you, the elevated boys, elevate. Okay, it's supposed to be a joke, guys.
Good.
Anyway, fantastic, and this far God has brought you. This is amazing, and you're doing a great job, really. Just because during this period, as you've just started now setting this up as a business and everything, there's money involved. Yeah. Any financial literacy, any financial education you go through just to help you manage your money well?
My mom's a financial analyst.
Oh, wow.
So the thing that he said earlier about advice, I can't get enough of it, in fact. So just knowing how to invest, and whatever you get, you don't just spend when you get it. Just thinking about the future and thinking about how you can grow yourself financially from what you've got and the little that you get. Invest a certain amount, in this and this money market funds and so on and so forth. It really helps having that background as well. And just having candid conversations again. You got to do this and this.
I love that you have some knowledge on matters finances. Amazing. Kudos to your mama. We need to take a very short break, and just like I'd mentioned, guys, these young people are here challenging us. They're amazing. They're so talented. I wish they'll give us their handles. We'll be able to follow them. Just let's get to see what they can do, because this space is not even enough for them to do what they can do. So join me still in this conversation. They'll be telling us their handles, or giving out their handles. We'll be right back after the break.
At Family Media, we believe in the power of prayer.
Do you trust on God's faithfulness?
It is how we lift one another up.
I will be moderating a live prayer circle session
and leading us in heartfelt worship.
Now, I want you to mark your calendar, because on the 27th of June, we're going to have a night of worship. I will see you then as we lift up a worship to our Jesus.
From 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., tune in to Family TV, Family Radio, and all across our social media platforms for a powerful night of worship and prayer. Don't miss this powerful worship experience.
Welcome back, and indeed an amazing song there is power. Absolutely, there is so much power in the blood of Jesus, and also there's power when a parent believes in their children's talent. And yes, we're going to take onto our socials. I can see someone there saying, there's feedback here, someone saying, what a great conversation with the young people. It's great to give them such platforms. Indeed. My question is, what kind of support do young people in their industry need from their parents? And also, what do they do differently if they were to start over again? So I think both of you can take, actually, because I'm sure my question is, what kind of support do they, Omar, you go with that, young people need in the industry from their parents?
So I think one key piece of advice, especially young people need, is being able to be financially literate. Financial literacy is very important because that way you'll be able to better understand the contract you're getting into.
Right.
You can better invest the money that you're getting from your gigs. And also, parents need to be able to instill values in their kids, because it's very important, especially when you come to interacting with different people in the industry. There's a lot of different habits people catch in the industry that if you didn't have the values instilled in you by your parents, it would be very easy for you to get wayward. Very easy. Yeah. So I'd also say make sure you're close to God as well. Yeah, because your parents need to be able to, your parents need to be able to, but your parents have to teach you to be able to have a spiritual, you need to be a spiritual strength to a certain extent.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I'd say the kids in the industry need from their parents, obviously apart from the support.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I agree. Everything that he said is something that I agree with. I think spiritual background is important. If you sit down and your strength doesn't come from yourself, and once you understand that, and I feel like a parent's role is to guide you in the direction of understanding that. Once you understand that, then life becomes easier to carry the burdens that we have, especially not just as artists but as human beings. So that's something that parents can do to help their children, or artists or whatever,
whatever talent they have, right? Okay, what would you do differently? What would you do differently if you were to start over again?
If I start over again, what would I do differently? So I don't know if I've mentioned this, but before I started making music with Genesis, I used to make music with somebody else in the industry. And if I was to do something differently, I would not work with him.
Honesty.
Just to keep it honest, if I was to start over again, I think there was a lot of dependency on my part, that I depended on him for a lot on what I could have done myself if I taught myself to do it. So if I start over again and do it differently, I wouldn't work with him.
For self-independence, which is a good reason anyway. Do you know?
I would, I'd start professionally recording, because like I said, I recorded on my phone. That hindered the quality of my music up until I started like using a microphone and go to the studio. I would start in the studio, like from the jump.
All right. And there's a question here. Hey family, my name is Pastor Peter. The conversation is interesting, but are those young men born again? I haven't heard them saying anything about the encounter with God, neither have they talked about the glory of God, only superstar and career development focus. Wow. Right. Okay, they've just talked about their spirituality from their parents and all that, but I think I'll give you an opportunity to speak more on that. Jeno, you want to go first?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic Christian, in fact. And I do have a strong relationship with God.
Fantastic.
I believe that's everyone has their own journey to spiritual freedom, but I feel like I'm on that path, and I do give glory to God for everything that I've achieved and everything that is to come in the future. So to answer the question, yes.
Lovely.
I'm also Catholic too. I was raised in a Catholic background, raised to always give thanks to God for whatever win that you have.
Right.
And I think,
Okay. Fantastic. Now, as your parents' journey with you help you navigate this journey of music, then what are some of the values that have instilled in you, Omar, as an artist right now? Some of the things you've picked from your parents and you're still running with them.
Yeah, one thing is to always be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter who you're with in the room. It doesn't matter if you're with another big artist. One thing is always be honest, be true to yourself, be true to your peers, be true to your craft.
Okay.
So that's one main value that was instilled in me by my parents.
Wow.
And I think always just be grateful.
Okay.
be grateful to them.
Okay.
Be grateful to Jeno for working with me. Grateful to you for giving us this chance to talk to you. You know, so
the spirit of gratitude.
Spirit of gratitude.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Jeno?
I say hard work and tenacity. I think really going after what you want, and you know, believing in yourself to the point where it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You chase your goals. Humility as well. That's another thing that it's lacking in our industry quite a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very important, and that's a value that I was taught very young. Doesn't matter what you've achieved. It's not, you're just but a vessel through which God works.
Yeah.
So you can't be proud.
No.
It's just, your job is just to do what you've been put here to do, and inspire the people around you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Inspiration. Fantastic. There are young people watching you out there, Omar and Jeno. What would you tell them? Probably they're just there and wondering, can I do this? I'm still in school. Speak to them. Speak to their parents as well.
So for my youngsters, chase your dream. No dream is too small, no dream is too big. But at the same time, school is very important. Stay in school, be true to yourself. Even if you're in school, make sure you do it to the best of your capacity, best of your capability. For parents, I can't tell you how to raise your kids, but one thing that I think your kids would appreciate a lot is support. Support them in their dream, support them in whatever they need to do. Please give them advice. You are here before them, and yeah, just support your kids. Support your kids, and yeah, we'll surprise you.
Okay. Yeah. Like when your mom came to sit and watch you, she was like, is this really my child?
This is my child, you know.
Awesome. All right. For you, Jeno, what song have you created so far that means the most to you, and why?
It means the most to me. Wow. That's a good question. I have a song. It's just me on the song, but it's called Lessons.
Okay.
It's about just my life up until this point.
Okay.
And the things that I've learned along the way that have shaped me to be the person that I am today. The lessons that I was taught by the people around me, my friends, my family, my mom, my brother. Okay. That is probably the song that means the most to me. Yeah.
Okay. For you, Omar, given a chance today, like to pick a superstar, we use the superstar word again, superstar somewhere in the world, or you know, which person would you want to be on stage with and perform with?
Wow. So he's an international rapper. His name is Young Thug. I think I've mentioned that guy a lot. Yeah, he's a rapper from Atlanta. Yeah, but that's internationally. He inspires me a lot, just through what he's been through, his trials, his tribulations, and just where he is right now. Yeah, but nationally, definitely Nyashinsky. So if you're watching this, if you're hearing this stuff, we're going to work very soon.
All right. Jeno, for you?
I agree, Nyashinsky. Bien as well. There's an artist called Rema. He's quite good as well. Yeah. Maybe I might even drop a Christian song with Don Moen. Who knows?
Whoa, whoa, good. Way to go. Way to go. Okay, now what is, you know, as parents, as the older generation, we tend to misunderstand you guys a lot. What is the biggest misunderstanding that you feel people have about young people, especially in the creative arts industry, for example?
Judging a book by its cover. You know, a lot of people, especially our age, like to express themselves by how they dress, express themselves by their piercings, express themselves by their hair. But you are not how you dress. You know, I know geniuses with dreadlocks. You know, I know people who work in law. You know, white collar jobs that you will not expect somebody with dreadlocks or a nose ring to do. So I think a huge misunderstanding that our generation goes through is a lot of people judge us by how we look, judge us by how we dress. You know, so
have you gone through that yourself?
Sometimes people look at me and, you know, the conversation we have is not how I look. You know, so sometimes it's interesting to me, but at the same time it can also be a bit, it can mess with your mental a bit, because people don't really want to to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Just based
They've
off.
already prejudged you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
quite
prejudgment.
unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah.
And for you, Jen, have you been through that? Probably being misjudged?
Yeah, for sure. You can see the afro.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it does. People have an idea of what would come out of my mouth, of the type of person that I am before I even get to speak. But I just say don't, because a lot of the people who have a lot of the most insightful books have torn covers. You get there are a lot of, if you want to go to a library and see the book that has been derived from the most knowledge, it's the one that looks a bit tattered. It's not the one that's fresh on the counter.
If your music journey was a book, Omar, personally, you as Omar, if your music journey was a book, what would be the title of your book? You know, start thinking about yours.
Of my book, of this chapter of my life, or just in general what I've been through?
Okay, let's speak like where you are at right now. Or even general, whichever comes easy for you.
I'd say coming up next.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
coming up next.
You're the next big thing?
Next big thing, and what's next in my chapter.
Okay.
Yeah,
oh,
fantastic. Coming up next.
Great, a good one, Geno, for you.
I'd say almost there.
You're almost there?
Almost there. Yeah.
Proudest moment for you in this whole journey that you look back, or, you know, you're like, yeah, that's me, bro. Honestly, this one right here. Having, you know, talking to you, Geno, and you know, having my dad in the studio, you know, watching me. It's up there for me. It's a proud moment.
It's a very proud moment.
Oh, absolutely. Please just smile. For you?
Wow, I have a couple actually. We've shared a lot of shows, seen a lot of kids inspired by what we do. We've hit a lot of milestones. We hit our first 1 million views the other day as well.
Oh wow! Congratulations!
Thank you. That was a milestone. Yeah, man, it's so many. I can't pick one. There are quite a couple.
Okay. All right. That's okay. So in this journey, like we talked about lessons, but you did mention the lessons that you've learned in the whole journey of music, school, and all that. What are some of the lessons? Probably 2 or 3 that you've taken with you.
Like I said earlier, no dream is too big. No dream is too unrealistic. Like Geno said, we hit our first 1 million the other day. 2020 me would not even think, that high. You know, so that's the first one. Second one, always be true to yourself. A lot of people are easily swayed by other people in the industry, by industry habits. Just be true to yourself. And be true to what you're doing. Be true, even online, just be true to yourself. There's a lot of lies that go on online. A lot of false images that people try to put out there. So I'd say, be true to yourself and dream big.
Dream big.
Dream huge.
Wow. Awesome. For you, Genesis?
I'd say you only get as much as you put in. So work hard. That's what I'd say.
Okay.
That's a lesson that I've learned quite a bit.
By the way, I'm just wondering, maybe we have like 5 minutes to go. Can you imagine that? How did you build your audience? Because 1 million, when you speak about 1 million, how did you manage to get there? What was the strategy that you used? Was it social media? Was it the live performance? How did you find yourselves there?
All of the above. You can't have too many avenues to push yourself. Like Omar said, parents don't ever stop saying that their kid is a musician. So that's marketing on its own. TikTok, Instagram, performances. It really widens the scope, and you can relate with people on a personal level. And then once you get to have a personal relationship with the people who listen to you, they'll consistently show up for you.
Okay. Are you intentional, like when it comes to impacting your generation? Are you intentional about that? When it comes to the type of music you write? Do you write songs, by the way, yourselves? Okay. So are you intentional when it comes to impacting your generation?
To a certain extent, I'd say yes. Because a lot of the music that we make or rather a lot of the music that we write is based off real things that we've been through, real experiences, very real feelings, real emotions. And I think a lot of people our age right now are going through a lot of different things that we can relate to.
Okay.
You know, we can relate, so we make relatable music.
Oh, wow.
And I think that is a major impact, especially to our age mates, because they understand. I feel like they are talking through us.
Okay.
So through our music, they're able to talk. They're also able to communicate how they feel just by listening to what we're talking about on the music. So I agree. Yeah, let's say, but we were very impactful.
Great, great.
Yeah.
Your parting shot, Gino, as we come towards the end of the show.
My parting shot is thank you. Thank you for having us. We very much appreciate the opportunity to come here and have this insightful conversation. To the people listening, thank you for all the support. Thank you for showing up for us, all the fans who've been there. Thank you to the family. Thank you to our friends. Thank you. That's my parting shot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Omar?
Thank you for having us.
Right.
Sally, this was an amazing conversation. Thank you to my parents for the support. Thank you to Geno for showing up. Thank you to my managerial staff and everyone. And my parting shot finally would be, no dream is too small, no dream is too big. Follow your dream. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Wow.
Follow your dreams.
Yeah.
So do you say dream big, think big?
Yeah.
All that in one?
Yeah.
Amazing. It was really, really nice having this conversation with you guys. And I wish you all the best. May God continue blessing the work of your hands. Or is it the work of your mouth, also the throat and everything? God keep blessing that. Keep impacting lives out there. I know it's not easy, especially like what you said, the judgmental bit of it. Let's be kind to our children. Let's give them space to grow. Let's guide them, mentor them, you know, and they'll surprise us. They'll surprise us. So this amazing young gentlemen here who are super talented at 1 million, that's no joke. Trust me, it is no joke. So on their behalf, we want to thank God with them and for them. And also thank you so much for being part of this amazing conversation. You've made it happen. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And also we appreciate a very special group of people. We call them our partners, people who ensure that we bring you such impactful, informative, educative content, you know, on Family TV. These are our partners. We want to say asante sana for being with us for the last 25 years, holding our hands and ensuring that, yes, we keep rolling and we keep putting and keeping Jesus on the airwaves. Remember, on Friday, which will be 27th, I believe we'll be having Prayer Circle Live, and it is about being anchored in Christ. So join us on that day, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., where we'll be anchored on Christ. That will be the theme. And in the house will be Pastor Burale, Robert Burale, will be right here with us, just celebrating Christ and being at the cross to bless and praise his name. So thank you so much. See you again tomorrow on Matters Finance. I will be talking about life insurance. Are you insured? Have you taken that product? Join me tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on both Family TV and Family Radio. You'll be part of the conversation. Asante sana. God bless you. See you again tomorrow.